Wow! What's happening, everybody? This your boy. Yes, sir. We back. We back. What's good, everybody? Welcome to Let's Talk with Stanley Doucette. I am he, your host, and today we got another one. Another one. Yes, sir. How's everybody doing? I know yesterday was Resurrection Sunday. I know some people celebrate, some people don't, but hey, we here now. So for all of you guys that celebrated resurrection, some people celebrate it as Easter or whatever. Welcome back. It's Monday. It's Monday, and if you from NOLA, New Orleans, Louisiana, you know this was a this was a high time. This was a high time in New Orleans. Listen, New Orleans has an incredible resurrection weekend. It is absolutely incredible. When I say incredible, it is absolutely incredible because on Good Friday, man, there's so much seafood we eat. It's unbelievable. When I say seafood and we eat, well, we eat. I mean, family, we eat. I mean, it's so much. Think about this. And I'm going to get into our topic today, but I want you guys to think about this on Friday. And I remember we didn't do it this year, but I could recall my family doing I just call it a seafood feast, right? And I mean, we would have boiled crawfish, boiled shrimp, boiled crabs. Then we would have fried fish, fried soft shell crab, cod balls, crab cakes, charred boiled oysters, fried shrimp, fried oyster. I mean, anything you could think about that was seafood. We had fried fish, we had potato salad, and I mean it was fresh. Some of it was caught that day, coming out the water. We frying it and boiling it, and all of the other fixings that went along with the crawfish or the shrimp, and the boil, the potatoes and the the potatoes and the corn and the sausage and the vegetables, and yeah, all of that. And there's multiple people that would do that, and when I say it is a feast, I mean it is a feast. We had so much food, it was almost bad, but it never went to waste. And then for those that actually partake in alcoholic beverages, they had a lot of those alcoholic beverages there as well. But let me just say, it was a time for families to come together, and it would be incredible, right? It would absolutely be incredible. You know, people would come around. I mean, you didn't have to have somebody come and say, okay, I'm gonna give you $5 to eat. I mean, if you were a guest of somebody or somebody was driving down the street, well, everybody had a chance to eat. Everybody had a chance, and we just had a great time. And then, of course, we started playing cards, and if you if you know me, when we play cards, it's a contact sport. Yep, we talking mad smack. I'm talking about big noise, big noise. So we had a lot of fun. And then on Saturdays, it was a lot of the Easter egg hunts and for the kids, and just another big, tremendous celebration. And then, of course, on Sundays, it was the big Sunday church day. A lot of people went to church for the first time all year. Some people was the first time going to church, period. So it's just a big celebration honoring our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. So it was just always been a big to do in my family. But one of the things that I always wanted to know is a lot of things we did together as a family, but I also saw a lot of things that kind of go into some of the things that I want to talk about, and that is just simply why people don't ask for help. And this is what I mean. You know, there are some times that the grandmother or the grandfather or the children or the mom or the dad, they would fix this certain dish, right? It was a certain dish, but they wouldn't ask for help. They wouldn't ask for help peeling the potatoes, or they may not ask for help with certain things or setting it up a certain way because they wanted it to do a certain way. But I started to go a little bit deeper into that. And just this weekend, we had a tremendous celebration with my church. And, I think it was that Saturday, we honored families that were, what do you call it, that was struck with violence, and someone in their family died, whether it was a son, a nephew, a brother, mom, or dad, etc., that was struck with I'll say gun violence, but just struck with violence, right? So we had about 200 families come together, and we just honored them at our church. It was a tremendous success. And then it was the Easter egg hunt. So, we had like 10,000 Easter eggs, right? Kids were in the park. I mean, you DJ, snowballs, nacho, hot dog. I mean, we had the whole shebang, right? So it was a great thing. And then, of course, Sunday, we had an enormous time. It was tremendous. The spirit was extremely powerful. So I can go on and on with that, but that's not why I'm saying that. But the time we were doing so many different things, not just with church, but with other things, I realized that a lot of people just were not asking for help. Not the church. I'm not talking about the church. I'm not talking about those individuals. But I started just realizing a lot of people were doing stuff, and I was like, hey, can I help you with that? Whether it was in Walmart, whether it was at a grocery store, a dollar store, whether it was in, a convenience store, it didn't matter. As you've seen people, a lot of people were not asking for help. Just simple things. Can I help you sit down? And they wanted to do it themselves. And I started to wonder how many other people are actually thinking that same way. Like, why are people just not asking for help? So, of course, being me, I wanted to dig a little bit further into that. So I found some tremendous things about why people don't ask for help. I mean, just people don't ask for help. Listen to this. People often avoid asking for help due to deep-seated fears of appearing incompetent. So let's just pause right there. Just pause right there. Deep-seated fears. Now, where do those fears come from? Because we only born with two fears, and that's loud noises and the fear of falling. So if you only have those two fears, then where did those fears come from about appearing incompetent? That is because we learned that from somewhere. Regardless of where, we learned it somewhere. So now if we've learned that if I ask someone for help, then I'm going to feel a certain way. I'm going to feel incompetent. Think about this, family. How many people that now, just in this quick scenario and this quick definition before we get into the rest of it, how many people do you know, including yourself, are not asking people for help because they don't want to feel, or they have the deep-seated fear of feeling incompetent? I mean, we're talking about incompetent. When I did the research and I dug it up and I looked through and went through and dug and figured out and dug, that word incompetent, that in and of itself is powerful. Somebody to feel incompetent, meaning less than, and that, all of those different things. I'm not going to go into the definition of incompetent, but thinking of feeling incompetent. But here's the thing. This is where demonic forces try to ease their little self in. This is what it shares, right? Deep-seated fears, where we all know fears are false expectations appearing real. False, meaning not true. Expectations appearing real. And then it says, what was the rest of it? Of appearing. It's you fear the appearance, meaning you don't want people to think a certain way because they're living rent free in your head. So you don't want, first of all, it's a lie. Then you're feeling a certain way in your own head, right? To make yourself pull yourself down and then insult your own self and say, because I feel incompetent. Wait, who said that? Not one person said that. Listen, I've been on calls, Zooms, Teams, Googles, and everything else, and somebody could be talking about something, and I don't know what it is. Oh, you best believe I'm going to ask. You best believe I'm going to ask, because it's not that you shouldn't have that fear. Now, a lot of people put these adjectives. Oh, well, you may not want to do that. You don't want to seem this way or that. Listen, hey, I don't know what 1 + 1 is. What are y'all referring to, right? and allow them to explain to you. But we're not asking for help when we really need help, but we're not going to ask for help. I really want to ask my wife, can she, I don't know, iron this shirt? Well, I don't want to ask her because I don't want her to know that I don't feel, by the way, I'm not married, but I'm just saying I don't want her to feel that I don't know how to iron. Well, who said that? Who cares? Ask for help. She may even be able to show you how to do it. Or I don't really want to ask my husband how to open, or can he open this jar of pickles, right? Because I don't want to feel weak. Are you kidding me? Why? Somebody is living rent-free in your brain. And you have to now, I don't want to go and ask him this because I don't want to feel weak. Why? What are you doing? What are you doing? So we have to begin in those situations asking for help, right? Here's another one. Feeling weak. I'm just weak. Or inferior. Men, we deal with that a lot. I don't want to feel inferior. I don't want to feel inferior to this. Or I don't want to feel inferior to that. Why? Why? We have to reject fears in this situation. We have to reject them. We have to reject the deep-seated things that have climbed into our spaces. Here are some of the key reasons why people avoid asking for help, right? Just write this down. Just think about this. Fear of appearing incompetent or weak. Many feel that asking for assistance highlights shortcomings. Stop, pause. Where did you get that from? I want to kill this today. Where did you get this? It's a shortcoming. Hey, you don't know it. Now, if you don't know it, you don't know it. There's nothing that can be done. You just don't know it. It's a shortcoming. No, you're looking at it from a negative way. I've never learned how to, let me think of something. Sign my name, right? I've never learned how to sign my name. Well, how about asking and someone can show you how to sign your name? Here's another one to talk about weak, because it signals a lack of capacity because you don't know how to sign your name, which can feel embarrassing. Why? Because you don't know? Man, think about this. How many people know things that you don't know? And how many things you know that others don't know? And if somebody genuinely came up and said, hey, can you show me how to sign my name? And they ask you, would you turn them away or tell them that you're weak or you're inferior or you're incompetent? No, hey, okay, cool, no worries. Let me show you, if you would like, I can show you how to do it. Sure. That would build confidence, right? But so many of us just run away from that for whatever reason. I don't know why, but they just run away. Here's another one. You're independent. Matter of fact, not just independent, you're hyper independent. You got that independency. You want to control everything. And when I'm saying this, I'm thinking of a female that I know, a friend, cool, real good friend, but she is hyper independent. She wants to control everything. As a matter of fact, I had a conversation with her one day and she said, Stanley, I know my problem. And I was like, oh, really? What's your problem? She was like, it's me. What do you mean? She was like, I want to control everything. Okay. And I told her, let me know how that work out for you. Let me know how that work out for you. Why am I saying that? Because if you become that independent and you want to control everything, you want to do it yourself mentality all by yourself, that means you're edging out God. You're edging out family. If you're married, you're edging out your husband or your wife. You're edging these people out because you want to do it yourself. Think about this. And I want you guys to really think about this. Some of us have some real powerful goals. Woo! I mean some powerful goals. But in having those powerful goals, we would have already succeeded or been in that place if we knew how to get there, right? So we have to ask for help. We have to ask for assistance. We have to ask, in some cases, how to get to a locations. Well, here's another one, right? There's people are so independent. Watch this. They don't even want to ask like Siri or Google, like, okay, can you help me do this, or what is this? Because they want to do it all themselves. Unfortunately, family, that's not good. That is not good. That is absolutely not good. And why they do that? You know, they have their own standards and they want to be superior and super this and super that. And it's like, man, bring that down. You know, ask for help. I know some people go to the grocery store or go into a store or the supermarket, or the mall. And instead of walking around in circles, just ask the lady at the counter, ma'am, do you know where the men's department is? Yeah, it's right that way. Thank you so much. How much time did that save? Well, some people just adamant. There's no way in the world I'm going to ask them. I'm just going to find it on my own. Not your boy. Not your boy. Hey, listen, ma'am. Do you know where the women's shoes are? Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. Right? Listen. The other day for church, we had to go and get something. I forgot. And I was in the store. And there was some pants, and I tried some pants on, and I was looking at it, I was like, oh, let me see. So I walked out, and I asked the lady that was at the, what do you call it, wherever you try to close the fitting room. And I said, ma'am, how these pants look on me? You think I didn't? I sure did. I said, ma'am, how these pants look on me? And she was like, oh, they look good. I was like, okay, guess what? This other lady standing at a counter, she was a seasoned lady. And she said, oh, I have 3 sons, and they do the same thing. Let me tell you, you look good in those pants. They're not too tight. They're not too loose. You know, they fit right. They're not, all crazy looking. So you look good in them. Thank you, ma'am. That's all I needed to know. I don't have a problem with asking, right? And I can go and buy pants and okay, good, and keep on moving. Or how about just asking for some assistance, all right? Here's another one. Fear of being a burden. Oh, I don't want to be a burden. My mom sometimes does this. Yep, I'm telling on her. Sometimes people will go to the hospital, go to the doctor's office, and they'll go on their own. And I'll be like, well, why you didn't call me? I could have rearranged the schedule. I could have, bought you. Oh, I don't want to be a burden. Who said you were a burden? They don't want to be inconvenienced and wait. I love you. John or Janice, I love you. It's okay if you ask me to go to the doctor with you or no, they're like, oh, well, I was going to try to figure it out. Why? I'm sitting right here. Why? It's okay. I do not mind bringing you to the doctor. It's okay. Or you have pains, and you driving yourself, get this, to the emergency room. And then you find out, be like, hey, why you didn't call me? Oh, it was late. I didn't want you to get up. What? You're going to the emergency room. Clearly something is wrong. Why did you not call, right? So that's one set. They don't want to be a burden, right? Or then you have other people, and I've been in this situation before where my vehicle is broken down. I have, had, and I told this story before where I was in Atlanta and I drove my old truck. I drove it so much. But matter of fact, both of the trucks that I had, I drove it so hard. I'm not hard, but I drove it so much until the motor fell out the first one. It was a purple Toyota Tacoma. That's right. That's the truck I went to Atlanta in. And I drove it so much. I was on 285. No, I'm sorry. I was on 85 South in Gwinnett. And I was in the middle lane, and I was riding, and all of a sudden, the motor fell out. Yes. This is not an exaggeration. I am telling the truth. The motor fell out. Well, when the motor fell out, obviously, that was my mode of transportation. Anybody in Atlanta that lives in Gwinnett know you need a vehicle to get around. So there were places I would go, and I was like, man, I really don't want to ask. Jimmy, my friend here, or my girl there, or something like that, to bring me here or to bring me there. I didn't want to ask. I didn't. Like, no, right? Because I didn't want to be a burden. You know, it's a 45-minute drive to bring me home out of your way, or it's 30 minutes, but I didn't want to be a burden. Yeah, I understand. And even today, there are people may need a ride. That's why I never turn my back on someone. You know, you whether it's the bus stop, whether they're at church or at a game, and someone needs assistance, because we never know when that might be us, and we may need to ask for help and really see where we are on this list. So, you know, there are people that would say, "Oh, Stanley, I don't want to ask." As a matter of fact, you know, it's times where you're like, "Hey, do you go on the way home, bringing them home? Bring somebody to the supermarket or bring somebody to the store." My neighbors, you know, just, "Hey, listen, I'm going to cut your grass for you." "Oh, no, Stanley, I don't want to be." "But your husband just had a triple or quadruple bypass on his heart. The doctors say he cannot push a lawnmower. What are you going to do?" "Oh, we're going to get somebody to cut it." They did it 1 week. This is a true story. They did it 1 week. 1 week. And the bill, it was like $100. It was something. No, I'm sorry. It wasn't $100. It was like $75. It was astronomical. I mean, it was astronomical. I was like, "Ma'am, I can cut y'all grass. It's only going to take me an extra 7 minutes, 10 minutes to cut the front of y'all grass, and it'll be all nice, uniform, and we can keep on going. I don't need anything. It's not going to take long." And they looked at me like I was speaking a foreign language, and I was serious. So it's not a burden. It's not a burden, but sometimes you have to ask. Like for me, 85 South, the motor fell out. I had to ask for help. I had to get past that and really not feel the other stuff. You know, I'm hyper independent. I wanted to do it myself. I didn't want to feel incompetent or weak. Right? I didn't want that, or even the next one I'm going to talk about, but I didn't even want any of that. So when we're saying that, family, and you're talking about asking for help, this is real life. Sometimes you just got to ask for help. And guess what? Let me share with you guys a quick way to ask somebody for help. Just tell them, "Listen, I am absolutely nervous about asking you to help me with this. It's going to take a whole bunch of air out the room." And it's like, "Yeah, no problem. What can I do to help? Hey, listen, my car broke down. I'm really embarrassed that it broke down. It's okay. It's not going to be ready for a week. Or are we waiting for the part to come in? Okay, no problem. Do you need a ride to work? You need a ride to church? You need a ride? What?" And allow the person to help. Well, for me, when I got past that, and people were like, "Oh yeah, Stanley, sure, I could drive you here, or I could bring you there, or whatever," right? But then here's the other part. This is something personal. Then I didn't want to feel like I owe somebody something. Yeah, nope. I didn't want to feel like I owe you something. "Oh, now I owe them something. Oh, now I got to be extra nice." No, don't take it that. Don't do that. But that was my experience. And I know some of y'all out there feel the same way I feel. "Well, I don't want to ask them because I don't want them to feel like I owe them something." Yep, you do. You owe them kindness like you always should be, right? So it's a lot. I had another friend of mine, very close friend. I was staying in an apartment. What do you call it? They call it the terrace level. Never figured that out, but that's another discussion. And I was staying in the terrace level, and they were staying on the ground level, right? And I'll never forget, she got some health concerns, and it was doing some just talking, and she needed some assistance with her son to get him to school in the mornings, or maybe even have to pick him up after school or whatever and bring him back home. No, you know, it's no big deal, right? But I can see the struggle on her face. Like, oh my God. Like, I don't want to ask this man to bring my son to school. Like, I just don't want to ask that question. So one of the things that, you know, just eventually talking, and she just got to the point, and she was just like, "Stanley, I need a big favor." "Sure, what you got?" And she just got some tremendous, not the greatest news health-wise. And I said, "Okay, what you need? What's up?" She said, "You know, on this day and this day. I'm just making days up. I don't remember. Let's say it was Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. She said, can you pick him, can you drop him or bring him to school in the morning? Sure. No problem. I don't have an issue with that. That's it? She's like, yeah, that's all. Okay. It was like, I have to go to work at this time. I got to do this to go this. And that's all great. No problem. And to this day, I've never asked her, oh, you owe me, or oh, you need to do this. No, never at all. But it also, when I talked to her later on, she admitted it. She told me, she said, Stanley, that was like the hardest thing to do. And I said, why? It was the same thing. I didn't want to owe you anything. I didn't want you to feel, I didn't want to feel that I was incompetent. I didn't want to feel like I couldn't do something. And I was like, it's no problem. And then now y'all know, I ain't gonna say her name, but then he got to a point to where she was like I had I had a key to the house, right? And she be like, Stanley, listen, go get such and such out my house, is in my drawer, and can you meet me at so and so I could get it? I forgot this at home. And it became a true brother-sister relationship. Going to the get our car changed. And they were telling us something. I was like, no, don't do that. Right? And it began to build a bond to help her in this tremendous situation that she was going through. So remember, you're not a burden. Right? Independency and control, you got to get rid of that, right? Here's another one. You don't want nobody to judge you. You don't want that judgment. I don't want anybody to judge me. Well, my motor fell out. What I'm going to do? That's not my fault. I didn't literally move all of the nuts and bolts for the motor and fell out. The motor just literally, it fell out. Well, I didn't want to have at one point I was like, I don't want to feel like I'm being judged, right? But also remember, let me say it right. Let me think. How do I say it? There's a vulnerability in needing others. There's a vulnerability in needing others. Now, in that vulnerability, that's a lot, right? That's a lot, because now you're being your true self. And now you can't hide behind your clothes or your cologne or your perfume or your fresh hair, or you just went to the hair salon and got your hair, as they say, fixed or did, or it's popping or it's curled, or you just got some new weave or new wig, right? You can't hide behind any of that. You have to ask. But now a lot of times we don't want to feel rejected. Or we don't want to feel judged. So we don't want to feel, and actually rejection too, if I'm thinking about it. But we don't want to feel and have that judgment. So a lot of times we don't want to ask that. We just don't want to ask because we don't want to feel judged. Me driving down the street with my car and the motor falling out, I didn't want people to judge me and be like, now why he just don't go get a new car? Well, perhaps maybe at the time I was working on something else, but I couldn't even afford to go get a car. Well, now all of this running rent-free in my head, like, they're going to think this, or they're going to think that, and they want this and they want that. No, don't feel judged. That's not on you. Hey, can you help me? It's a yes or no. And then we have to go on. And then this last one I want to close out with is really past experiences, right? We don't ask people for help because of past experiences. We may have asked people for help before, and it became just really a sore spot, a trauma, or just something that was just like, oh my gosh, like how in God's green earth did I get to this place? Like, I'm in pain. Now I have to ask someone else for something. Matter of fact, let me give y'all a good one, right? This is a real good one. For people that's in business, have you ever had a business deal that went sour and it didn't work out? You didn't get the deal that you wanted, or it didn't work out, or you lost money, or any of those things, right? Or you found out somebody lied to you, Somebody got your money, right? All of those things. Then fell into all of those stuff and fell into a Ponzi scheme, or y'all remember the other ones, friends helping friends, all of that. Yeah, friends helping friends, the flowers, the sapphire, the diamond, whatever it was called, all of that stuff. And so now you like, man, ain't no way in the world. No, not your boy. We not doing that. Not your boy. No ma'am, no sir, no way, no how. We're not doing that again. And then here you have another deal that come to the table. You do all of your research. You did everything and some. But then somebody's asking you to do something. Well, that's a past experience. That's a past trauma. I'm not doing that, right? Well, it's the same with asking somebody for your help. Like, can you help me, right? When we don't ask for help because of that past trauma, and we're thinking about, last time I asked Jimmy about this trauma, not about the trauma. Last time I asked Jimmy to help me, and it wind up with this, and you just don't want to hear it. You are like, there's no way in the world that I'm actually going to ask this person about all of this stuff again. I just say again. And all of a sudden, now I got to go through these traumas? No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. So a lot of times we don't ask people for help because of a fear of appearing incompetent or weak. We don't ask them because we want to be hyper independent. We want to control things. We being a burden, being judged, and of course, the past experiences. So those are just some of the reasons of why we literally just don't want to ask people for help. But here's my suggestion. In spite of all of that, get you some good friends. Get you a good circle around you. And, when it's time, ask for help. When it's time to ask how to make a signature, how to create a signature, ask. When it's time to find out the new features on the iPhone or on a Samsung or what do you call them? Not Samsung. I just say Samsung or the Google phones. Ask for help. Everybody always talk, oh, you got to get an iPhone. You got to get an iPhone. I'm asking why. You got to do this. You got to Android. That's it. You got to get the Android phone or you got to get the iPhone. Why? Those both of them are multi-trillion-dollar companies, right? What's your bank account look like? Anyway, I'm not going to go into that. What yours look like. So listen, family, ask for help. That's going to help you along the way. Ask for help is going to help you along the way. All right. So family, we will see you guys next week. I love y'all. I just wanted to make sure that we had a time to spend today, but ask for help. I noticed that this weekend, a lot of people didn't want to ask for help on certain things, but ask for help. And let's make it happen in a massive way. So I love you guys. I will see you guys on the beaches of the world. And I'll talk to y'all next week on Let's Talk with Stanley Doucette. I'm out. Peace.